It is wonderful to be married to a man who truly enjoys what he does for a living. He got the bug early on. He will tell you that he first became interested in politics back when he was in junior high, I believe, and it was election night in Benton County. His dad took him down to county headquarters election night, and he said, I totally fell into it. I got the bug. I've heard him say to me, I could have been at the national convention. It was so exciting.
He called Senator William Armstrong and asked him for a job as the senator's representative and campaign manager in Pueblo. The senator told Dick, yes, I'll hire you, but it's with the understanding that you go back to college and get your degree. Dick got the job. He returned to Southern Colorado State College and got his degree. And yes, Senator Armstrong won the election, of course, with the great assistance of one Richard Wadhams, the Los Animas Flash and forthcoming King of the Hill, when it came to getting a considerable number of United States representatives and senators elected to the hallowed halls of the United States Congress.
When he first came to work for me after I was elected to the Senate, he immediately set up an office in Pueblo, Colorado, which at the time was sort of behind the Iron Curtain for Republicans. But it's interesting that the pioneering work that Dick and a handful of others did in Pueblo have made it a much friendlier place for any Republican running for any office, local or across the state. Over the years, I watched Dick sort of grow up because, you know, when he first came to work for me, I don't think he was old enough to vote. I'm not even sure if he was old enough to drive. I mean, he was really a youngster, but was he smart, focused, dedicated? And over the years, what he's accomplished, the things he's done for me personally, and for our party, and for candidates like Bill Owens and Hank Brown and Wayne Allard and many others around the country, it's just phenomenal. All that he has accomplished hasn't been that easy. He's thrown himself into it. He's invested his life in it. But he's done it with such joy and such a sense of this is the most fun anybody ever had in their life, a joie de vivre, and he inspires that in others. And because of that, he's been like a magnet to bring people into the process and into the Republican Party.
When I ran in 1998 with Dick as my campaign manager and basically the operations head of my campaign, we had been defeated 6 straight times. We hadn't won in 30 years. That 1998 campaign surprised a lot of people, and I think a large part of that credit goes to Dick Wadhams. A lot of times we take a little bit more esoteric approach in the Republican Party. We're not willing to mix it up. Dick Wadhams is always willing to mix it up.
You know, there's a reason why Dick's been the most successful campaign manager in the history of the state of Colorado. It's because he cares so much about individual freedom. Right in his heart is the core of what the Republican philosophy is. He's a champion of it, and it's reflected in everything he's done. The youngest county chairman in the history of Colorado, the most successful campaign manager, but a bright light in terms of philosophy. Dick simply cares about people and about their freedom, and it shows in the way he interacts with people. Campaigns are energized by Dick because he carries the heart and philosophy of the Republican Party. And all you need to do is see the volunteers that flock into campaigns that believe in the Republican cause, and it's because of Dick Wadhams. You know, campaigns are such serious things. People have their heart in their hands and so on, and Dick not only dealt with the intense issues that came up, but he did it with a smile on his face and a cheer in his heart. And he pretty well cheered everyone to know not only how important the campaign was, but how joyous a venture it was. He turned a chore into a fun opportunity.
Dick Wadhams came up with a theme that really made the difference. We painted this picture where do we want this small businessman, this veterinarian who likes dogs and cats and takes care of animals, as opposed to this very successful lawyer lobbyist. Everybody in Washington was convinced on both those campaigns I was going to lose. He went up to Montana there, helped Conrad Burns a couple of times. They were convinced Conrad Burns was going to lose those campaigns, and he helped put Conrad Burns in the winning column in the 2 campaigns that he managed. Then his reputation was beginning to build up, and he went to South Dakota and helped John Thune beat the majority leader in the Senate. That was a fabulous victory.
Dick is one of those that brought me in, included me, made me feel part of everything, and respected what I needed to do. Had to kind of hold my hand and encourage me a lot. But that doesn't happen in most campaigns, and so I've always just had a tremendous respect for the way Dick treated us as a couple, and me most especially as a wife.
He is all campaign all the time. No one who covers Colorado politics is ever going to forget his kind of cheerleader jump on the stage in 2002. Veterinarians too, Lori lobbyists, nothing, he attempted his little, 3-inch jump off the stage there, and we were all waiting for him to fall. My father's a Republican, and my mother is just an ardent liberal, and she can't even mention the word Wadhams without frothing. In fact, when I turned 50, my parents came out, and there was a big birthday party for me, and the mayor came, and we had invited Dick, and they read his regrets, and it was funny because Dick said, "I wish I could be with you, but I'll be in Routt County that night for a Lincoln Day dinner." And she said, "Is that a federal prison?" Mike Litwin has always said he's been so amazed at our relationship because he would walk by in the morning and I'm screaming, "I don't write the headlines, I've told you that 1,000,000 times." Click. And then in the afternoon, he walked by and I'd be laughing so hard I could barely talk. And he goes, "Who is that?" And I go, "Oh my God, it was Dick Wadhams." I told him that Tom Strickland's campaign manager just had his wisdom teeth pulled, and Dick is ordering peanut brittle, beef jerky, and jawbreakers to send to his office, which Dick did, by the way. And Tom Strickland's campaign manager was so angry at me, he could barely speak.
Dick and I grew up in politics together in Colorado. I'm from Durango, God's country as most people know it, and Dick is from Los Animas, which I think accounts for some of his curmudgeon nature. I can sorrowfully say that in the last 35 years there is no one that has brought more fear, anxiety, consternation, tears, profanity, and general paranoia to Democrats in Colorado than Dick Wadhams. I have never run across a person more naturally suited to his profession than Dick Wadhams. If you have to take Wadhams on, you better get up early and you better pack your lunch. Unfortunately, I'm one of those who've had my lunch eaten by Mr. Wadhams over the years.
A lot of people who come from counties where there's a lot more Republicans than Democrats, or very few Republicans, don't quite understand the dynamic of a statewide race where you've got 1/3 Republicans, 1/3 Democrats, 1/3 unaffiliates. Dick understood the type of messaging that conservative candidates need to have to pick up enough unaffiliated votes, more than 50%, to win a statewide race. And I was very appreciative of that. He could give you great advice about what you as a candidate needed to do to win a statewide race. And obviously it worked for me, and I'm very grateful for that.
He's the best chairman we've ever had. I've been in politics long enough, and having been chairman and a vice chair and all these things, having worked with state chairs and watched the process going and watching them operate, there's no question in my mind that Dick's the best.
Watching Dick work over the past 4 years has just been simply amazing. He has brought in a very professional staff. The people are smart, and they're very work-oriented, and they're lots of fun.
He demands the best from himself and those around him.
For me, Dick has become more than a boss. In a lot of ways, he's become a mentor.
The thing that makes him such a master at his craft is that he reads everything. And he has this memory that he'll remember stuff that somebody said 15 years ago that's inconsistent with what they're saying today, or something that they said in some New York Times op-ed or something like that. I mean, he remembers it, and he will take them to task. I mean, and once he hones in on somebody for their inconsistency, he is relentless.
I want to thank him for the service he's given us and in the way he has done it. I've just appreciated it so much.
The Republicans ought to feel very fortunate they've had somebody like Dick Wadhams who's been able to help get Republicans elected to key offices in Colorado and lead the party for the last 4 years.
These last few years as chairman of the Republican State Central Committee, he's taken on what must be the toughest job in politics. I mean, if you think about all the institutional restraints that are placed on the chairman of a Colorado political party, it's an uphill task. But under his leadership, and with his help and his laying the groundwork, we've taken back control of the State House of Representatives. We've elected 2 great new congressmen, and he's cleared up the debt. We're on an even keel financially. We can enter the next election cycle, which is going to be crucial, with money in the bank and without a big debt overhanging us, so that we don't have to pay for the past. We can raise money now going forward for the future. Dick is exactly the kind of person that Thomas Jefferson described. Jefferson had a word for people like Dick Wadhams. He said they were patriots, and that's what Dick is. He cares about the future of his country, cares about the future of Colorado, and he's excited to be part of the process.